Hi YouTube, this is going to be about my second home birth. Both births were unassisted childbirth. And unassisted childbirth just means that there were no medical professionals there, or no midwives, or no doulas. No professionals were involved in the delivery of the baby, so it's unassisted technically. Okay, so the first one my sister was there, but the second one, my husband was there. Just me, just him and I, and my best friend um, was in the living room watching my little toddler, and my other good friend Lisa was in and out. Shout out to Lisa and Yvette, my girls, and my hubby Christopher. Love you. Okay, so anyway, I labored all day and night the day before my son was born. Um, It started off slow, contractions, and I wasn't really sure if I was in labor. But by that evening, I knew I was in labor because it was painful. I don't believe all births have to be just so painful, but this one was for me. Um, so anyway, what was really fun about it was that my friend Yvette, she came over, and like around 6 or 7, whenever she got off work, and I was just in labor, I was just feeling it, slight pains, like menstrual pains, and she came over and we just had like girly time, and that took my mind right off it. And what I mean by girly time, I mean we did facials, nails, and photo shoots, and laughed, and that was a good couple hours. And then when we were done with that, we rode to HEB, and I was on the little scooters, and I was just riding, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in labor. How you doing? It's so it was crazy, but it was so fun. And so anyway, the next morning, my husband got up to go to work as usual, but he was on call. He knew he was going to be on call. So sure enough, I called him around, well, maybe 10 to hurry and get home because it wouldn't be long, about an hour, and then the baby would be there. I just knew it. So anyway, what was crazy was my positions I was laboring in. Like I would be standing up walking, and a contraction would hit me. I would stop. I would breathe, and like the pain would hit me, and I would like crumble to my knees. Like I would like, it was like I was on the exercise movement. You stand up, you put one knee down, you put the other knee down, your hands on the floor, and I would breathe. And once the pain subsided, I would get back up and like, whew, okay, let's do it again. But I actually labored like in my bedroom. I had my door closed. It was just me. Even though my friend was here, and my child, whatever, I had them in another room, and I was just by myself laboring because I didn't want anything to scare off the labor. That's possible for your labor to start and stop suddenly because it gets scared away. That's really possible. So I didn't want that to happen because I think it happened twice before. When I thought I was going to go into labor, it didn't stop. Uh-huh. So anyway, um, once it was closer to the time and I was really in pain, I came and drew me a bath, and got in the tub. My husband sat right there on the floor beside the tub, actually right behind me, and right here on the floor, he was sat right by me, and basically kept me company. I was in pain, but the thing I don't like about my second one was once I got in the tub, like my hips were so close together. My hips were narrow, and that locked me up because I should have been more wide and more spread out, more open, or just able to move around because I feel like that kind of stalled my labor because I was just sitting there writhing in pain, because I was just so tense and scared, afraid. For whatever reason, this second one had me more afraid. Even though my husband was right there, I guess I let my vulnerability show, and he was scared. So anyway, I think I was in there for about an hour, and then once I felt like the baby was there, just it was a little stall. I was telling him I don't know if I can do this, and he said, just breathe. Yes, you can. Just breathe. And I was like, ding, a light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, duh, you're supposed to be breathing. Everything I learned from Anime Gaskin and from the movies and everything I watched previously had went out the window. But once he reminded me to breathe, that all came back to me. I'm like, yes, I need to breathe slow and steady, mouth, jaw relaxed, and the baby will move down, and the baby will start to descend and come out as I open and as I open up. And sure enough, a few deep breaths, I heard this sound. It was like suction, and I feel like that's when I was fully dilated, and the baby like was right there, getting ready to at my cervix, getting ready to descend, because it was just such a noise I will never forget. So they say no, he started like shooting out. Yeah, he was coming fast, and I knew that I was to slow it down. So I was trying to close my legs to slow him down because I didn't want to rip or anything. But this son of mine was coming fast, so I managed with my husband's help to turn over to all fours, and pretty much, ooh, ooh, he was still coming out fast. So I wanted my husband to splash some of that warm water on me so I could relieve the burning sensation, the ring of fire. But he thought he was trying to. He knew the baby was coming. He didn't want me to put it off no longer. So the baby came shooting out while my back was towards the wall, and I had my husband behind me or whatever. Well, he was still on the floor outside, but he was seeing everything I couldn't see. So the baby splashed out, and once the baby splashed into the water, I turned around and I looked down at it, and I was just in a spell for like 2 seconds. And my husband's like, "Pick the baby up." I'm like, "Oh, I better get the baby out the water," and I held the baby, but it was just such a stunning moment for me because of the way he looked. He had this perfectly round head, and his shoulders were so broad. He looked just like my husband or whatever, but none of my children had looked like that before, so he had me stunned. So anyway, we sat in that tub for a while, and I just tried to bond my child, and I let my friend come in to see the baby. I didn't cut the umbilical cord right away, um, and it was great after the baby was out. I put him on my chest and, with it wrapped up in a towel. And then next thing I know, he was latched on. I'm like, who told you to do that? He already knew automatically to breastfeed. I had read about it before, and I wanted to see if he would do it. And sure enough, he went from here and inched on to find my the nipple areola, and he, breastfed. So it was beautiful. I won't forget it. I'm so glad I did it with my husband because that's the whole memory I wanted. He loves to tell stories, so I wanted him to have a great story to tell. And now he does. So that's my second home birth experience. Please remember to rate and comment and subscribe if you want. All right. Goodbye.